though. And we'll see who's going to be able to take this one out in the end. Our 6th game of the day, and we're ready to jump on into the action. We've got Germany up against Spain here. We'll see instantly a lot of action kicking off. We've got a Prince to answer the Miner. We've got some Bats to deal with that Barbarian barrel as well.
I think BAKTERIE is actually used in the deck I use all the time. It's a Miner cycle deck. It should have Inferno Tower in it as well, and just quite a few cycle cards, maybe even Spear Goblins and Goblins. This is the one I'm predicting it is. I think it's that one, because that's one of the most popular cards with Miner, Prince, and having Bats in it as well with the Barbarian barrel. It's a really good cycle deck.
What's the game plan then with this deck?
So with this deck, you're just basically baiting out zaps. You're baiting out, just baiting out all their spells. And if your opponent doesn't have a zap, they're going to struggle to come against this deck, because it's just constant cycle, constant cycling out your Miner, constantly cycling out your little units like your Bats, your Zap. I mean, Bats can clear up anything. They're probably the most DPS for the lowest cost.
Value, yeah.
So you can, I mean, both players are playing a similar deck, but I think Dai's deck, BAKTERIE, is probably got the deck advantage here more than likely, just because he's constantly just chipping. Like I say, he's putting those Spear Goblins down, forcing out little things, and chipping away at the tower on the left-hand side constantly all the time. Nice Miner coming out there, but not managing to actually catch Fernando's Miner.
Yeah. Trying to predict where that Miner is going to go is often difficult, as they'll obviously in this kind of matchup you've got to change up where you're going to place it so that your opponent can't quite predict you. The Barbarian will be blocked by a Prince, so it doesn't get a shot in, but the Miner on the other side will get a few little hits there. That's going to come out. Prince charging on forward, but the Electro Whiz is going to stop that in its tracks.
Yep, shouldn't be too much of a problem here. We've got the Skeletons going down there as well. Electro Wizard does take a little bit of damage. There might still be a counter piece from Fernando here, but yeah, he does actually go for it. The Miner then, if the Electro Wizard actually connected to the tower there, you might got some value out of that, but you got no value whatsoever out of that.
Yeah, and I like this. Get your Goblins going in one lane, in the meantime set off the Miner in the opposite lane. Poison comes on through as well. The Prince now going to be able to charge on down the opposite lane. It'll be met by another Prince and a nice snowball there. Just improved.
Yep, huge counter breach there, but really good control from BAKTERIE there with his Prince plus snowball. Just easily able to control it, especially with the tower on your side as well. Easily take that push out with just a small amount of units. But we have the constant cycle with the Poison Miners. This is what you want to be doing in Double Elixir with this deck. You want to constantly use a Miners Poison spell cycle all the time against this when it gets to Double Elixir, so you can just chip that tower down.
So you want to just keep on dishing that damage out. Miner comes on through in that right-hand lane and will do a tiny bit of damage, but not really enough. And now these Bats might just connect to the tower. Nice E-Wiz just to stop that in its tracks, but the Poison continues to tick on through.
I think maybe even Fernando's going to have a little bit of a problem here. He's only really got Electro Wizard to deal with the Bats and the constant zap bait. So yeah, I think he's going to struggle coming end game here to stop the push. But the Prince actually connecting to the left-hand side. Huge pressure on both towers at the moment, splitting up his push a little bit here, whereas BAKTERIE is focusing on his left-hand tower.
Nice Poison there to deal with the Bats and the Miner on top of that. 300 HP left. We're going to get to spell cycle range here. 100 remaining. Those Goblins might just finish it off on their own. The Prince is going to be there to block the damage, but he just needs one more Poison. There's a Miner on in. A Snowball would do the job at this point, but it's going to be the Miner on its own. BAKTERIE. I don't know. I give up on this name. BAKTERIE, I think.
Yep, I think I'd have to say it probably about 20 times before I actually
I feel like we need to just give up on this.
Yeah, I think we'll just D maybe.
D. All right, we'll call him D.
D means he is.
D-back.
D-back, yeah.
There we go. So he's one up in the series. Anyway, regardless of whether we can say his name, he is playing phenomenally in this one.
That was some really solid plays. I guess the problem is with the Miner. I mean, if you leave the Miner, it can get around about 300-400 damage by itself, so you need to stop it every single time. He didn't catch any Miner there. You saw at the end there, he put the Skeletons at the front. I think he thought he was going to switch up his placement from the back to the front, but he obviously put it at the back twice in a row, because it's good to switch up your placement, but sometimes just with mind games, it's best to maybe even just do the same spot over and over again. Sometimes it's just really hard with Miner, because Miner's one of those things you have to predict it to actually win the game.
So much about Clash Royale is mind games. Yep. When you're in between games in a series, changing decks is mind games. When you're in the game, placing Miners and trying to predict things with Fireball and Zap, it's all about the mind games. It's all about positioning. It's all about trying to predict what your opponent is going to do and what they think you're going to do.
I mean, Miner, I feel half-time is really unpredictable where you can actually place it. So there's a couple places where it should probably always be placed on the tower, but it's just really hard to predict that. I mean, 3 skeletons could easily stop everything with it, but it's just such a hard card to predict.
Yeah, amusingly, sometimes the suboptimal positions for Miner end up being more optimal because they're unpredictable, being able to get those shots in. The Ice Wizard does actually survive from the Barbarian there, so might get 1 or 2 shots off, but there's no Barbarian just to deny that in its tracks. Skeletons will block that damage. So both players just cycling through to start things off. Don't want to give away too much, but by the looks of things,
I think they swapped around. Well,
yeah,
Fernando's actually
Fernando at the top
stolen Dai's deck now, so he's coming a little bit different. I think Dai,
he's got something different entirely.
I just have a feeling this might be Ice Bowl, because this is the only thing I could actually see this to be.
Well, that was one of the things I was hoping for earlier today. We'll see if that'll come out.
I think if we see Tornado, 100%. Expo is going to be his last card. You don't want to be playing Expo too early whatsoever. You need to be putting that at the bridge and double elixir and back up with a really good push, the counter push to what your opponent's going for. There we go. Yep, we've got Expo coming down. So this is the first time we're going to see Expo in this whole series. I used to love Expo. Expo was my favorite deck. It actually got me to the highest rating pre-trophy buff.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, but it was my favorite. 2.9 was my favorite deck, to be honest. That was the only one I played for a long time.
I'm a big fan of watching Expo games, I have to say. I'm not the greatest Expo player in the world, but I think that it's a deck that leaves a lot of creativity, right? There's so many different ways to play it. There's so many different combinations of cards that you can pull off and different things you can do in situations. It feels like Expo is one of those decks that, regardless of what it's against, there's always something you can do that's just a little bit ahead of the curve to make something happen.
The only thing I would... Oh, Royale Giant coming out the end, so it's not Expo.
Never mind.
I mean, it was very similar. I mean, the only thing you could actually put Expo in this deck, well, maybe Royale Giant with this kind of splash tornado control deck, I think is probably better than Expo right now. Because I know myself, with the deck that Fernando's running, if I come against Expo, I will not lose. I will normally beat Expo most of the time. Really nice tornado go down there, activating the King's Tower, but could it be a little bit too late? We activate the King's Tower right now.
We'll have to find out. Miner comes on in, connects to that tower. We'll see if the Prince is going to be able to get a connection as well. Tornado in perfect time to deny that, but he will go through. Does get a massive hit there. 250 remaining. Poisons in the deck as well.
Yeah, I don't see Dai coming back from this one whatsoever. Even if it goes off the lane push, all it's going to take is the Inferno Tower in the middle.
Yeah.
Good game.
That is going to be game.
I think the thing about this deck as well, even if you have Zap in the deck, defending with the Inferno Tower, if you put your Zap units down first, like I put my Bats down, I put my Spear Goblins down, if you get the Zap on top of that, even though you can have Zap in this deck, it's the Inferno Tower can just deal with any tank push coming forward.
Really nicely played there by Fernando, managing to take that one out. And I mean, we spent most of the game talking about Expo, and it ended up not even being in
close.
But
it was. I mean, it's
stuff.
A really similar deck.
Yeah,
it
really
is. It's the kind of like Ice
You
Bowl
easily
deck.
could have seen an Expo being with those cards, but unfortunately, we're not going to see an Expo today. I don't
it's just
think,
Ice Bowl, no Ice RG.
Yeah. But either way, fantastic stuff coming out from Fernando, answering back against D, and we'll see coming into game number 3 here who's going to be able to finish this series off in style, and also whether we see another bit of a mix-up in the decks. Obviously, number 1 was almost a mirror with a couple of slight tweaks. Game number 2, though, 2 very different styles of deck, and then game number 3, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yep, but I'm liking this, though. I'm liking just not seeing RG all the time, so I'm really liking these kind of diverse decks that people are coming out with. That deck in particular, that Minor cycle with Inferno Tower, is a really strong deck at the moment as well. I was using it for a long time. It actually got me up to around about 6,000 trophies, and then I used the P.E.K.K.A. control deck to manage to push above that. But it did do very well for such a long time for me, that deck. So it takes a lot of practice, but all you're doing basically is baiting out Zap and getting that Miner on the tower every single time. And it's really easy to do so, and really easy to defend with as well. So it's a really good deck, I think.
Nice. Well, we'll see if we're going to see that coming out in game number 3 as well. Players just getting ready to jump on into this lobby. And I believe they're both individually searching for a friendly battle. We just need one of them to join the other person's friendly battle. Then we'll be able to kick things off here. And it looks like we're about to do that exact thing. So, time to jump into game number 3 and find out who is going to be able to take this series. And also, I'm excited to see what kind of decks we see coming on in for game number 3. Neither player going to play a card just yet. The Bats coming on through for Fernando, who's now at the top once again. I thought that was going to hit Crown Tower for a second.
It was close. It was definitely close. I did like it. I have done that a couple times at the start. Just even one slight drag with your finger or whatever can activate the King's Tower, so you really got to watch out sometimes.
That's the point at which, once again, you just swipe up and close the
Pretty much. Right, so we have Dai going back with his Bats deck, his Zappy deck, and it looks like Fernando potentially coming up with Lava Hound as well. So both changing up decks again. The players aren't sticking to the same deck, but I mean, Dai dominated with this deck last time, and I think it's a not too bad deck against Lava Hound as well. It should be able to bleed Lava Hound as long as he baits out the Snowball or whatever along that lines. He should be able to take it down. He might not even have Zap in this deck, so Inferno Tower is going to completely clear out the Lava Hound. And if it's Lava Hound Clone as well, he has Poison in his deck, so he can just deal with that really easily as well. So Lava Hound's not really got much of a chance here, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the Lava Hound does come on in, and he's going to have a Lumberjack there. The Lumberjack will go down before the Lava Hound can really use that rage to any kind of effectiveness. It will speed him up a little bit, but honestly, in that situation, you don't want him to speed up. You want him to go as slow as possible so you can build up a push behind him. Poison will come down though, and that'll comfortably deal with this push. Inferno Tower even gets onto the Baby Dragon as well. Just excellent defense there from D.
Yep, I think he's going to probably change up his Inferno Tower placement next time, because his opponent could go Bats in front and then go for the Lava Hound, push behind that and take down the Inferno Tower. So that was good Inferno Tower placement there, but he's probably going to have to switch up the placement for the next time if his opponent decides to try and counter that way he places Inferno Tower. So yeah, exactly. It's a good placement for it, definitely, but sometimes when your opponent knows you're going to be there, you can easily take it down.
Alright, well the Bats alongside the Miner here. I don't think they're going to get too much done with a nice Snowball there, as well as those Barbarians. Barbarian Barrel is in, should be in hand, I would think, for D here, so the Barbarians shouldn't pose too much of a threat. Should clear through those. The Bats now going to come down alongside it, and a Lava Hound in the back, trying to set up for a push here. Inferno Tower will be available, and it's going to be dropped right in front of the tower.
Right, yep, in front of the tower again. I guess the thing is, if you place it in the middle, your opponent can easily lure it away with something, Bats or something like units. But yeah, this big push coming in. He hasn't actually poisoned yet, so if the poison, everything should just basically get down here.
Melts away.
Yep. But it's good for it, but I mean, he still took a lot of damage there.
I was going to say, yeah, that Baby Dragon, obviously, the Inferno Tower got taken out early on in that fight, so Baby Dragon with the Rage is going to be able to do a good amount of damage, even just by itself. Barbarians now will be walking on down. They dealt with the Miner. Pretty much even health. Honestly, I could see this tie.
Maybe could tie up. I think we'll probably see a lot more Miner cycles coming out soon. There's a lot of pressure coming up from Fernando's side, I think, with all this air coming through. And it's hard to deal with that Baby Dragon with this deck as well sometimes, just because of all the light units you've got in your deck. You can see even the Bats managing to take that Baby Dragon down fairly easily, but the Miner always chipping away. He's always getting that Miner down. He hasn't caught that Miner yet, so this is the whole problem. Fernando needs to stop that chip damage done, otherwise he's probably going to lose this game as well.
Let's see, 2 minutes 30 on the clock as another Lava Hound comes on through. Snowball used there, which does obviously still have that poison for when the one comes into play, but already Inferno Tower locks on, and that is going to be this Lava Hound going down near immediately. Poison dropped as well. Baby Dragon will be able to do some work at least. We'll take down those goblins and we'll get a couple of shots onto the tower, but again, it just doesn't feel like quite enough.
Yeah, defensive poison every single time he's playing pretty well, that defensive poison. He's not going aggressive with it. You definitely don't want to go aggressive against Lava Clone when it comes to your spells. You just want to wait till that maybe Clone or Lava Hound gets across your bridge.
Yeah, the Prince in the left lane trying to distract away from this right hand side. There's a point coming on down. There's a lot of goblins there. I think it's even Spear Goblins do great against one just because they'll hit so many different targets over time. They can attack so quickly, but Matt's now going to come on through. This Baby Dragon once again getting a few shots onto that tower. 1000 HP now.
The majority of the damage done so far has been by the Baby Dragon, and poison that, well, just a little bit of chip damage from the Lava Hound as well. So it's just, I don't know, we'll see how this game plays out. Lava Clone is just really strong right now, but I feel that Dai could potentially control this and get this finished off. He needs his poison right now, as he has got it in cycle, but he'll be able to finish this off.
A little bit of damage onto the tower, not too much this time though, down to 900 with just about a dead even game here. Snowball down to finish off those Spear Goblins. I don't think this Baby Dragon's going to be able to do much, although he is
still pretty healthy.
Out of the Inferno Tower's range though. Now he's going to be pulled in. The Prince will take that quite happily.
see a miner coming out here fairly soon. We got the poison going down. It looks like he's just trying to cycle his spells as opposed to putting his miner down. Flying Machine is coming forward, though it's really low HP. Does manage to get it down before it crosses the bridge, so that was pretty good from him. Otherwise, I feel that would have cost him the game.
Those Barbarians knocking on in, though. Clone, comes in as well, and they're going to be able to get a couple of Lumberjack hits at 200 HP on that tower. Only has the snowball, though.
Double Rage going down there with a clone, but shame it doesn't speed it up double the speed. We have got Spear Goblins coming forward, Flying Machine coming forward here again. Huge pressure from that Flying Machine. It's a really soft unit, but you don't want to let it do too much damage.
Miner in ours. There we go. Miner finally comes on through. That's going to connect to the tower. Barbarians come down. Snowball there as well. That's a lot of damage onto that tower. A couple more hits will do the job. 60 HP, and there it is. D takes the series there. 2-1.
That was so close, though. That was that Miner. The Miner and the Lava Hound were so close to that tower on both sides, and Dai just managed to pull off 9.